Have you ever wondered what if you rode every roller coaster in America? How many coasters would that be? Well, your credit count would be somewhere around 830. So in today's video, we will do exactly just that and come up with a hypothetical road trip of a lifetime across America. And when I am referring to America, I am referring to the United States. So sorry to the rest of the countries in North America. I know you guys exist, this video is already way too big and we just couldn't add more. So to ride America, I used one main resource, coasttocoaster.com. This is one of the best resources for any coaster enthusiast out there. If you have not heard of it, it lets you explore every coaster in the entire world using a map. It's super well built and is tied in RCDB. I highly recommend checking it out. It's a great resource to plan trips, and I just end up clicking around on it for hours sometimes. Using this resource, I was able to efficiently map America. Well, kind of. You see, after I spent 6 hours of my life routing the US, I ended up with 814 coasters. And according to RCDB, there are 832 operating coasters in the United States. So we somehow missed 18 coasters. I was very confused and started going down RCDB state by state, and it turns out that Coast to Coaster is a little outdated in terms of its offerings. It's missing mainly new small-scale additions, so most of these are mountain coasters that were built in the past 2 years. So I am so sorry for the missing 18 coasters. I just don't have the time to reroute the entire trip to include them, so just know these are all the coasters on Coast to Coaster, which is pretty much every coaster in America. As for the video itself, it's going to move fast, so buckle up. We are going to explore 323 different parks across America on an insane 129-day trip of a lifetime. We're going to stop at Chicago as a halfway point and pick up next week for part 2. One more side note is that this trip is absolutely insane. It requires so much driving that it would probably make a person go insane. There is no off time, no stops, no nothing, 128 days of pure coasters. It is possible to achieve the trip in one operating season if you start in May and end in September. Park operation schedules are kind of taken into effect, so it is possible to do this trip, except for one caveat: fares. Traveling coasters do not count towards this list, obviously, but there are a handful of coasters that are permanent pieces of its respective fare. This route does not take into account the fair operating calendar, as for example, the Georgia State Fair and the Washington State Fair both happen at similar times and they are across the country from each other. So if you are taking the trip, I would just skip these parks, and I also would suggest skipping certain set legs. And also, one last quick note, this video is counting operating coasters as of January 20th, 2025, so it will get outdated fast based on coasters that open or close. Now that the logistics are out of the way, here is the route. So starting off, there are no current operating coasters in Hawaii, Montana, Delaware, and Rhode Island. So already we have 4 states completed. So that's 4 less states to think about. We're going to start off this trip off in Tampa Bay, Florida. You will get to enjoy your entire first day at Busch Gardens, Tampa, something that you probably will rarely see for the rest of the trip. On the second day, you are hitting a collection of smaller parks, first Celebration Station, then Zoo Tampa, then Legoland, Florida, and the adjacent Peppa Pig Park. Now that we are in Orlando, we can hit up Disney World, and you get one day to do all 7 coasters across 4 parks. Have fun with that. Disney's long operating hours allows you to do this no problem. On day 4, we will have a quick credit run at SeaWorld Orlando before stopping by Old Town and Fun Spot America to finish off the day. Day 5 is both Universal Parks and Fun Spot America. Also take in mind that Epic Universe will be opening later this year, so you probably have to add a day for that, or wait till you can park hop between the 3 parks. Day 6, we will drive 4 hours up to southern Georgia and go to Wild Adventures to ride some old Vecomas, and then make the 3-hour drive to Panama. The next day is an aggressive one with 5 FECs on the Gulf of Mexico. First, we will race to Race City PCB, then Swampy Jack Wongo Adventure, then Track Recreation Center, then Splash City Adventures, getting ourselves Florida completion, and finally ending the day at Track Family Fun Park on the Alabama coast. And contrary to popular opinion, Alabama does have some coastline. Day 8 will start not too far away at Tropic Falls, probably getting only a singular ride on Rolling Thunder, before making way to Mississippi and Louisiana, heading up Paradise Pier Fun Park, Big Play Entertainment Center, and Carousel Gardens. Day 9 will continue with more FECs, starting off our day with Dixie Landing, followed by Celebration Station, and with that we get to celebrate Louisiana completion. Then we head back north into Mississippi for Brookhaven Exchange Club Park for Mississippi completion, back-to-back state completions. This will happen a lot in this series. Day 10 has us into Alabama for Alabama Adventure, but you probably won't be too happy because Rampage is SB&O for maintenance. Then we drive an hour and a half to northern Alabama to stop at Athens Lions Club Kiddie Carnival for Alabama completion. Make sure you take the hour-and-a-half trip so we can start day 11 at Lake Winnipesquia in Georgia. Then we will make our way over to the tourist trap known as Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We will do 2 mountain coasters, Ghost on the Roof and Smoky Mountain Alpine Coaster, to close out a relatively chilled day. The next day, we will go to Dollywood and stop at Rocky Top Mountain Coaster after for a total of 10 credits and a ride on Sweet Sweet Lightning Rod. On day 13, we're going to close out the Pigeon Forge area with a ton of mountain coasters, going from NASCAR Speed Park to Skyline Ranch to Rowdy Bear Smoky Mountain Snow Park to Island and Pigeon Forge to Moonshine Mountain Coaster to Ripley's Mountain Coaster to Anakista and finally Oberg Gatlinburg. This does sound like a lot in one day, but they should be relatively fast credits to get and they're all close to each other. Though if you finish the other 2 days in Pigeon Forge early, it's highly recommended to start on these completions. Following our stay in Pigeon Forge, we have a relatively chilled day back into Atlanta, where we stop by Santa's Land and Fun Spot Atlanta, and then most likely the closed Georgia State Fair. On day 15, we will spend the entire day at Six Flags Over Georgia. Enjoy this because you won't get much of this. Day 16 is a really chill driving day. We're going to drive 4 hours to Savannah, Georgia to stop by Keller's Flea Market and ride a Jinky Kiddie Coaster that will give us Georgia completion. Following our stop, you will make the 4-hour drive to Myrtle Beach for a total of an 8-hour driving day. On day 17, we will stop at Family Kingdom Amusement Park, Pavilion Park, and Track Family Park, all in Myrtle Beach. On day 18, we will make the drive to Columbia to Frankie's Fun Park, and then drive a short 2.5 hours to Charlotte to prepare to go to Carowinds the next day. Day 19 is a full day at Carowinds, so you can actually get to enjoy Fury 325 and knock out coasters in 2 states in 1 day, and you also get South Carolina completion, so that's cool, I guess. Day 20 has us back on the road with Treaty Railroad in West North Carolina, and then making our way to Frankie's in Raleigh. Surprisingly, I have actually been to Frankie's, but was there before the coaster opened. After Frankie's, it is highly recommended to drive to Richmond, Virginia, as we are moving on from North Carolina completion. Day 21 will be a fast trip to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, followed by a short visit to Go-Karts Plus to ride an E&F Myler Kiddie Coaster. This could be done in opposite order as well. Day 22 is similar to Day 21 in the fact that you get to go to 1 major park, Kings Dominion, and 1 minor park, Funland of Fredericksburg. Maybe Raptera will be open by the time you get there. Oh, and we also got Virginia completion, yay! Day 23 is more strenuous, with starting the day at Adventure Park USA, which has a Schwarzkopf Wildcat, before making the 1-hour drive across DC to Six Flags America. This is a bit of a tight schedule, but definitely doable. On day 24, we will collect FEC credits in Sharptown Fireman's Carnival and Hebron Fireman's Carnival. Then we will make our way over to Ocean City, Maryland, to end the day at Trimper Rides and Jolly Roger at the Pier, getting to ride Tidal Wave, an all-white Vekoma Boomerang. Day 25 is an interesting one, as we will be using America's great transit system and take a ferry from Maryland to New Jersey and stop at Maurice Piers. You have the whole day to do this because who knows how much a headache the ferry is, and if you really don't want to deal with it, just drive around Delaware. Day 26 and day 27, we will work our way up the Jersey Shore, starting with Playland's Castaway Cove and Gale Force, then the Steel Pier, which is receiving a Skyrocket 2, then the Storybook Land, Fantasy Island Amusement Park, then the Casino Pier, which has Hydrus, and finally Jenkinson's Boardwalk. Day 28 will have you start at I Play America to get an FEC credit, and then head over to the newly downgraded Six Flags Great Adventure for rides on who knows what. I know this is possible because I have done this. Day 29 will start off with Sesame Place in Pennsylvania with rides on Oscar's Waxy Taxi before heading off to 2 FECs, Funplex and Clementon Park. Day 30 will be a nice, relaxing, and enjoyable day at Dutch Wonderland. Day 31 will be a slightly less relaxing day at Hershey Park. Hopefully it won't be busy or you're going to have to fork over some money for Fast Track. Day 32 is Knoebels, followed by a mountain coaster at Camelback Mountain Adventures. Day 33 is Dorney Park, followed by Bushkill Park, home to a janky powered coaster. Heading back to New Jersey in day 34, we will go to Land of Make Believe, and then to Keensburg Amusement Park, home to a rare looping Finfari Cyclone. Day 35 will have us making our way into New York to visit the historic Coney Island with rides on Cyclone and Thunderbolt. On your way, be sure to stop by Adventures Family Entertainment Center for an FEC credit. Day 36 will have us going up Long Island to quickly stop at Fantasy Florist at the Flushing Meadows Carousel, and then to Adventureland for rides on Turbulence. Day 37 will have us going around New York City to Playland Park, which has a pair of wood coasters, and then to American Dream, where I doubt any coasters will be open because they never are. Day 38 will start a trip to Mountain Creek Park and a ride on 2 different mountain coasters and gaining New Jersey completion. It will then continue with Castle Fun Center and to end the day off with Legoland New York. Day 39 will start with a visit to Quasi to see Wooden Warrior, followed by a visit to Lake Compounds to ride the world-renowned Boulder Dash. Day 40 is a lot less interesting, starting off at Ocean Beach Park, and then a 2-hour drive to Edaville Family Theme Park. Day 41 is a nice relaxing day at Six Flags New England with rides on Superman. Day 42 is quite the opposite of relaxing, starting off with Canopy Lake Park, to York's Wild Kingdom, to Funtown Splashtown USA, and finally to Palace Playland for a total of 9 coasters. In that stretch, we got Connecticut and Maine completion, leaving us with 35 more states to go. On the next 3 or 4 days of the trip, I highly recommend skipping because it's a lot of driving for a ton of mountain coasters, but here it is. Entering New Hampshire on day 43, we have a quick stop for a mountain coaster at Cranmore Resort, then to Storyland, which has a Gravity Group family coaster, and then to Itosh Mountain Resort for more mountain coasters, and ending the day at Santa's Village to get New Hampshire completion. Day 44 starts with a 2-hour drive to Stowe Ski Resort, then a 2.5-hour drive to Santa's Workshop, which is different from Santa's Village. Day 45 hits up a bunch of ski resorts in Vermont, Killington Ski Resort, then to a mountain coaster in Okemo, and then end the day at Bromley Mountain Resort, getting us Vermont completion. Day 46 has us going to Lake Georgia Expedition Park, then down the street for a quick credit run at Six Flags Great Escape, and then ending the day at Berkshire East for a mountain coaster. Day 47 closes out the mountain coasters with 2 coasters at Jiminy Peaks Mountain Resort for Massachusetts completion, and then a 45-minute drive to Huck Finn's Playland, followed by a 2-hour drive to Sylvan Beach Amusement Park. Day 48 has us stopping at Seabreeze in Rochester, and then to Niagara Amusement Park, which is home to a CCI Woody. Day 49 is a chill day at Six Flags New England, hopefully full of rides on Ride of Steel. Hitting day 50, we have a trip to Holiday Valley, then Midway State Park for New York completion, and finally ending the day off with Waldameer and rides on Ravine Flyer 2. Day 51 starts off with a trip to an FEC, Fun for All and Family Entertainment Center, then to Kennywood so you can stare at the massive lawn ornament of Steel Curtain. Day 52 has a trip to Del Grosso's Amusement Park, then a 1.5-hour drive to Idlewild, then back to mountain coasters with Seven Springs, and also gaining us Pennsylvania completion. That's a huge one. Day 53 will start with a mountain coaster in Wisp, earning us Maryland completion. This will be followed by hopefully a quick visit to Havre's Wildlife Zoo before making a 3-hour drive to start day 54 at Tuscarora Park. Day 54 doesn't stop there, as this is followed up with Fun Times Fun Park, Sluggers and Putters, Howard's Apple Farm, and finally Memphis Kiddie Park. If you haven't noticed, we are in the great state of Ohio now. Day 55 is clearing up the rest of the FECs here with Columbus Zoo, and back-to-back visits to 2 different Scene 75 entertainment centers, one in Columbus and one in Dayton, and finally a visit to Stricker's Grove. Day 56, we will have a chill day at Kings Island with some elite coasters, and day 57 will contain a visit to Camden Park, getting us West Virginia completion. That feels so random, and then stop at a Malibu Jack's in Ashland. Day 57 also starts at a different Malibu Jack's, this time in Lexington, Kentucky, and then visits to Dynabrook Greenhouse, and yet another visit to Malibu Jack's, this time in Elizabethtown. Day 58 will start off with a pair of elite coasters at Kentucky Kingdom, and then lead to another Malibu Jack's in Louisville. I swear, nothing has a grip on the Midwest like good old Malibu Jack's, and probably some alcohol. Day 58 will close out Kentucky with Cave City Park and Beach Bend down in Bowling Green. Here there's an interesting looking GCI that I kinda forgot existed. Day 60 will start with a great roller coaster park of Holiday World, but unfortunately you have to leave to go drive an hour and a half to pick up a credit at Lark Ranch. That is totally not worth it, but it is optimal for time. Day 61 has some more credit whoring with a visit to Indianapolis Zoo, to another Malibu Jack's, this time in Lafayette, home to one of the worst college football teams, and once you make your way across the hellscape of Indiana, we can finish the day with a visit to Indiana Beach. Oh, and then you have to drive 4 hours at night because day 62 is your day at Cedar Point. You only get one, so you better get Fastlane. This is also a momentous moment because we completed the great state of Ohio. Going counterclockwise around Michigan, day 63 starts off with CJ Barrymore's Family Entertainment Center, and then a quick 3-hour drive to Cedar Valley's Wild Frontier Park, and then a shorter drive to Arzo Sports and Fun Park, earning you 4 hours to the car and 6 credits you never knew you needed. Day 64 will start off with Craig Cruiser's Family Fun Center, which is an elite name for an FEC, and then a visit to the Lost Park of Michigan's Adventure for hopefully quality rides on Shivering Timbers. Day 65 starts off with this visit to another Craig Cruiser's Family Fun Center. I really didn't know that my good old boy Craig Cruiser had the capability to make a chain of parks, but have fun getting the credits. Day 65 isn't over though, as a visit to Airway Fun Center completes Michigan, and then visits to Zow Island and Harvest Time Pumpkin Patch finishes off Indiana. And with that, we have finished 26 out of the 50 states and 444 out of the 832 coasters in this video, with a day 65 of this trip, thus being a good halfway point before we enter the magical streets of Chicago. I know this video was a mouthful, but hopefully you followed along and the information didn't just go in one ear and out the other. If it did, just watch the video in like 0.75 times speed. I'm sure it will help. This video took a lot of time to make and it was super fun to make, so make sure to tune in next week as we close out the rest of America. That's all for today's video, guys. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, join the Discord, link in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.